name is Lucy and today I'm going to be reacting to fantasy books recommended by you. So I asked on Twitter and Instagram for which fantasy books you think I should read, and I have a selection here to talk about today. So let's have a look. The first book was a series, and that is the Malazan Book of the Fallen by Steven Erikson, the first book being Gardens of the Moon. So when I first saw this series name I didn't recognise it, but when I saw the first book I did, and I have seen it around. So this sounds like a traditional adventure fantasy. There is an empire and there are soldiers and a dark force. So I'm really interested to check this out. I think it is quite a popular series. So I'm hoping that I will enjoy it as well. And yes, this has been added onto my TBR to check out. And that was recommended by Lyra Lucky on Instagram. Next book is Throne of Glass by Sarah J Maas, and I have actually read this. So I have read the first two books in this series. I did like them, but I didn't love them. I kind of enjoyed them, but they're not memorable for me. I'm not sure if I'm going to read the third book, so let me know if you think that it gets better in the third book, because I'm not really sure. I did read Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J Maas as well, but I really didn't like that one. Throne of Glass and Crown of Midnight were okay. And that was recommended by Book Blog Buzz on Twitter. Next book also recommended by Book Blog Buzz is Obsidian by Jennifer L. Armentrout, the first book in the Lux series. So I am not interested in reading this because I feel like this is more of a heavier romance than fantasy from the sound of it. But I am interested in reading some of her newer books, so Kingdom of Blood and Ash and Storm and Fury I think it is. Both of them I am really looking forward to reading. I like it when there's a fantasy and there's like a cute romance, not when the plot is kind of overtaken by the romance. I prefer romance to be like a smaller element of the plot. If you've loved this book, that is awesome. I'm just more interested in her newer series because they sound more like something that I would enjoy. Next up is Hinder by Christine Ping, and this was recommended by Ali Booknot on Twitter. This is set in a world where there are witches and they have guardians, and the main character has been locked in a locket for years and now she comes out and she has to find her bender who helps her with magic, and if she doesn't then she won't be able to use magic. This sounds kind of cool, but I'm not massively interested in reading it personally. Let me know if you have read that book and what you thought of it. So the next series is The Edge Chronicles, which was recommended by the Amiga Jojo on Instagram. And the first book is The Curse of the Gloam Glozer. And this is about a 14-year-old whose father is a pirate and there is a curse. So I'm not massively interested in pirate books unless they are heavy fantasy books. And this book just doesn't pull me in, unfortunately. But let me know if you have read this. Next up is the Mirror Visitor series, and this was recommended by K.A. Wiggins. The author of this is Christelle Dabos, and the first book is A Winter's Promise. And I do have this on my shelf. So I spoke about this in my 21 books I want to read in 2021 video, which I will link below if you want to check out. And I'm really excited to read this. So in this book there are spires that people live on that float in the air, so that sounds very cool. And the main character can walk through mirrors, so she is betrothed to someone, and I think this is for political reasons. So I'm really interested to see what happens. The magic sounds really unique and really cool, so I'm excited to read this one soon. It was translated from French as well. So K.A. Wiggins also recommended two series by Sebastian D. Castell. The first one being the Greatcoat series and the second one being Spellslinger, which I think is the first book in the other series. And apparently the Greatcoat series is an adult series, whereas Spellslinger is a YA series. So that is very cool, kind of like how the Schwab works across different genres as well. So the first book in the Greatcoat series is Traitors Blade. In this book, people are trained to be greatcoats and they use magic to uphold the king's law. But then there is a war looming and the greatcoats are divided, but they must come together to fulfill the prince's wish. So that sounds mysterious and I want to know what happens. So I'm hoping that I will enjoy this one and I will be checking this out. And Spellslinger is the first book in the Spellslinger series. And this follows Kellen, who uses magic, and he is meant to be doing a duel, but he loses his magic, so that sounds very cool. And then someone comes into his life and says that he could take a different path. So I'm wondering what this other path is. Will he get his magic back? Will he use his magic for other reasons? This sounds really exciting and I am definitely interested in checking this one out. So those were all of the books that were recommended to me on Twitter and Instagram. And I really enjoyed doing this video and checking out some different recommendations from you guys. And I've added some of these to my list of books to get. So that is really exciting. So thank you so much to everyone that responded. And if you would like to take part in future polls, my Twitter and Instagram are down below. So I will post things on there asking for prompts and things. So if I do, then you could reply if you want to. I really hope that you enjoyed this video. Please check out my other videos and subscribe if you would like to. And please comment down below if you have read any of these books and what you thought of them. And I hope to see you in another video soon. Bye!